In August, Ohio corn and soybean fields saw quite a bit of moisture and high temperatures in the 90s on a couple of days, and September getting off to a very wet start as well. Because of that, Matt Hutcheson with Seed Consultants says there are some things to look out for.
We could start to see some problems as the crop stays in the field once it's mature. We've had some stress and a lot of water and denitrification in some fields, so we have some stalk issues out there. I've been walking a few fields in southern Ohio and in this area here in central Ohio. There's some weak stalks out there, some that are starting to lean. You can do a little pinch test on the bottom part of the stalk and you can feel some stalks are pretty soft. You know, there's not a lot of strength there, so if we get some heavy rains and winds, we could have some corn start to go down. And another thing that I've noticed while walking fields are some ear rots starting to form. I haven't seen a lot of that, but I have seen some, especially diplodia. There's a few ears here and there in a couple of fields I've been in. So that's a concern if we have upright ears still and we get a lot of rain here in the next couple days or over the next week. Those ear rots could proliferate and we could see more of a problem as we get into harvest. I think overall the bean crop does look really impressive. It's been a good growing season for beans. We have had some issues in certain areas of the state. There's been frog eye leaf spot, and there has been quite a bit of sudden death syndrome as well. So those are things to keep an eye on. It helps in varietal selection going forward or scouting if you need to spray a fungicide for frog eye leaf spot. I've also noticed some stink bug feeding, and that's a concern as we're in pod fill. When we get out there and harvest, a lot of times the damage that stink bugs can do to pods, if they're feeding on the pods, they can take away a lot of yield and significantly reduce the seed fill in the pods. So that's a concern, something we want to keep an eye on. If we have stink bug issues in the future, we're going to need to make sure we're out there scouting and we may need to spray a rescue treatment. When we started out in the spring with a lot of rains, it's important when you get the crop in the ground, you want to make sure that you're planting into ideal conditions and not planting right before a strong weather event where you're going to have severe weather with cooler temperatures and a lot of rain. I think that's key. We've seen a lot of areas where heavy rains earlier this year really stunted the crop and impacted the entire season. And I think scouting is important as well. We saw some diseases come in early. Some areas where fungicides were applied, we saved yield. There's some places that didn't get a fungicide that probably should have, and I think we'll see a yield hit there this fall. But it's important to get out there and know what's going on and to make timely decisions. You can really impact the rest of the growing season based on when things happen.